So student, as we are discussing on our history, chapter 1 of NCERT, French Revolution, today we are in the last part of this chapter where we will discuss about did women have a revolution or not and the evolution of slavery. As we all know that from the very beginning, women have taken active participation in the revolution, and their active participation in the revolution had led to certain changes in the French society. The women, they were taking part in the revolution as because they were demanding certain rights from the revolutionary government which should be equal to men. What was the right? Right to vote, right to be elected as a representative in the assembly, right to hold political office. Now, out here also in our today class, we will see the abolition of slavery, which was an important social reform which has been taken place in the time of Jacobin regime. That is, during the time of Jacobin regime, the abolition of slave trade was being done. So, as this could not last for more than 10 years, again, after the coming of Napoleon Bonaparte in 1804, he has again reintroduced the practice of slave trade. Finally, in France, the slave trade was been abolished in 1848. As Napoleon was focused on invading other countries, he has been finally defeated in the Battle of Waterloo in 1815. As we have seen that in French Revolution, many new government came, many new law was been implemented, and many new order was also been implemented. As this ultimately, this liberation has brought an idea of liberty, equality, fraternity, right to speech, right to freedom, and right to fight against the censorship. So this all idea was being spread in France. Not only that, this French Revolution has inspired the other countries of the world too. So today in our class we will discuss about this in detail. So now let us start. Now, did women have a revolution? So as we all know that from the very beginning, women has been an active participation. That means they have taken an active part in the revolution. As the active participation of the women in the revolution has led many changes in the French society. Now the women, they have taken active part in the revolution with the hope that the revolutionary government will improve the lives of the women. As the women, most of them were from the third state. Apart from their household activities, they used to work outside their house for a living. Like they used to work as a seamstresses, or we can say, or laundresses, and even they used to sell flour, fruits and vegetable at the market. Some of the women were being employed as a domestic servant in the house of the noble or clergy. And the most important drawback was that the woman was not the one, those who belong from the third state or from the poor family, they were not given any access of any kind of education, or not even they were being provided any kind of job training. Only the daughters of the nobles could study at convent, and the working women, those who work outside the house, apart from that they used to take care of their families, like they used to cook food, fetch water in the field, stand in a queue for a long period of time for bread, even they look after their children. After doing such activities, the wage of the women was low as compared to that of the men. Now during that time, the women, they have formed their political club in which they used to discuss regarding the political idea that was being published in the newspaper, and apart from that they used to discuss regarding the interests of the women in the political club. During that time, there were about 60 women club was there in different part of the French city. Among them, the Society of Revolutionary and Republican Women was the most famous. Now, what was the demand of the women? The demand of the women was that they should enjoy the same political right as the men they were enjoying. Now, women was totally disappointed with the Constitution of 1791, which has divided the French citizen in two parts, that is active citizen and passive citizen. Those who got the right to vote, they were the active citizen. Those who do not get the right to vote, they were the passive citizen. Now, women belong to the passive citizen. Now, what was the demand of the women to the revolutionary government? The women, they have demanded that they should get right to vote like men. They should get right to be elected as a representative in the assembly, and even they should get right to hold political office. So in earlier years, the revolutionary government, which was the government during that time, have implemented certain law to improve the life of the women. What was that law that the government has implemented? Was that the government has created a certain state school in the which the government has made compulsory education for all the girls. Even the father can no longer force their daughter to get marriage against the daughter will, and marriage was made in contract that should be registered under the civil law. The most important was that divorce was made legal. Earlier, the men could only apply for the divorce, women could not apply for the divorce. But as this divorce was made legal, now both men and women could apply for it. Now, women was also been allowed to do job, like they could become artists or they can start the small business. But after the reign of terror, the new government which came has issued certain again law, and that government has ordered to close all the women club and even to ban the women to take part in further political activities. During that time, there was the most important woman was there who was the leader of the revolutionary, was being arrested, and they were made to be executed. Now this women movement was for demanding right to vote and to get equal wages. Had continued till next 200 years, and it not only continue in France but also in different part of the world. The fight for the right to vote, this movement has started from late 19th century and till early 20th century. So finally in 1946, the women in France has got the right to vote. That means in 1946, women has got right to vote in France. As they were fighting for their right, they got their right finally. Now next one, we will move on to abolition of slavery, as this is one of the most important social reform that has been done during the time of Jacobean regime, who has abolished the slavery in different parts of the French colonies. As the abolition of slavery that was done during the time of Jacobean regime was continued could last for 10 years, but still this was an important revolutionary reform, social reform that was being done. So during France, there was colonies like Martinique, Guadeloupe and San Domingo. These were the important colonies which used to supply commodities like tobacco, sugar, indigo and coffee. But during that time, certain problem arose. What was that problem? The European labor were not willing to go far off places from their native place, as they were unfamiliar with the land, and the unwillingness of the European labor to go to work in the distant places had created a shortage of labor on the plantation. Now, when there was a shortage of labor for the plantation cultivation, there has started a triangular slave trade. And this triangular slave trade was started between Europe, Africa and America. This slave trade began in France in 17th century, as the French merchant, they sailed from the ports of Nantes to African coast, and from that African coast, what this French merchant used to do, that they used to brought the slave from the local chieftain, and they used to pack them tightly in the ship, and they used to sell them to the island of America, where they were being sold to the plantation owner. And this triangular slave trade worked out for many decades, as this has the exploitation of the slave labor by the plantation owner had helped the plantation owner to fulfill their demand, as the demand was there in the European market for the sugar, coffee and indigo. And the port like Bordeaux and Nantes, which has become an economic prosperity as because of flourishing of the slave trade in this port. Now, throughout the 18th century, we have seen there was a very little criticism for the slavery in France, as because no one was criticizing the slavery in France. And in the National Assembly, the long debate was going on the topic that right of man should be given to all French people, including the people, those who belong to the colonies too. And this right of man, this law was not being passed by the assembly. Why? As because the businessmen were feared, as majority was the rich section in the assembly, and this law was not being passed as because businessmen was fear. Why they were feared? Because their business, their source of income was totally dependent on the slave trade. Now, finally, the convention that was passed in 1794 implemented law, that is to free all the slaves in French colonies, from the French colonies, to release all the slave. As this abolition of slavery was a short-term measure, that is for 10 years, later when Napoleon Bonaparte came, he has again reintroduced this slavery system, and that is a triangular slave trade. Again he has started, but this has could not continue for longer, as because finally French colonies, in the French colonies, the slavery was been abolished in 1848. Now next one is the revolution and everyday life. Out here we have seen the year that has followed from 1789 in France has brought many changes in the government, and these changes in the government has also changed the life of the men, women and children during that time. As the revolutionary government has passed many certain laws and order, with this law and order, now what was the idea of this revolution we have seen was that this revolution has ultimately brought freedom of speech, freedom of expression and more freedom to press, and freedom that is the right to remove any kind of censorship that was been important law has affected from after the fall of or after the attack of the Bastille in summer 1789. Now what we have seen is that the next one in the conclusion we can see is that as the right to liberty, equality and fraternity was been, this idea was spread, but as we said that Napoleon, he came to power in 1804 with an idea to become a liberator, but slowly and gradually what we have seen is that he started to invade different part of the country. Now he initially earlier given a uniform system of weight and even given the idea of decimal system to be expanded, and he has also given the right for the protection of private property. But slowly and gradually, as he has focused we can say focus or some changes we have seen in Napoleon was that he focused on invading different part of the country to extend his empire. And finally as he was trying to invade, to extend his empire, he has to fought war with them. So finally he was been defeated in the Battle of Waterloo in 1815. Then we have the July Revolution that took place in 1830. Again they have started revolting against the monarchy to remove the monarchy system that exists in France. So France witnessed a kind of upside down during that time. Finally, what we have seen is that as a revolutionary regarding the abolition of the monarchy was being done, it was been abolished, and out there we have seen that numbers of newspaper, pamphlet, book was and printed picture was been came out as regarding the activities of the role of the monarchy, and that has flooded in the town. That means has spread in everywhere, every part of the town in France, where they travel rapidly in the countryside. Not only in France, this thing spread like newspaper, pamphlet, book and printed picture, not only in the French town but also outside the France also it spread. As this has described, or we can discuss this event and changing take place in France. That means finally at the last we have seen all this discussion and describe the changes that had occurred in France has not only led to the freedom of press and also meant the oppressing view of event could be expressed. So this French Revolution has not only become a revolutionary in France, but also it has become a revolutionary outside the France also, and it has also inspired the other country to fight for their right. So we have covered the first chapter of history, that is French Revolution. So in our next video we will continue with our next chapter. So till then, take care. Thank you.